Hello, good people of GHASKA gathered here for today's program, business seminar that is happening live at Suwon at Aju University. So one of the main aims of GHASKA is to help Ghanaian students here navigate their way through their stay and even after education. What are the opportunities that are available for you to take advantage of? To that effect, we try as much as possible to connect with a lot of alumni who have been there, who have gathered a lot of experience, to be able to guide us, to share their experiences with us, and then help us go through that path. And because of that, we had one of the longest serving alumni who I think you saw in the earlier video invite you for the program, who is here to share his experiences. He's gone through the mills. He's been at the gotten a job in Korea with an E7 visa, formal job, and then after that he's been able to establish two very good companies in Korea, and he has a lot of things up his sleeve that he wants to share with us. So I'll give him the opportunity to tell us everything that he knows, that he can guide us, and then if you have questions, we can navigate through it and see how things will go. So over to you, Mr. Larry.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President Divine Kosa of GHASKA. People of GHASKA, I greet you all, most especially to the President, Mr. Richard Kabute, the Vice President here, Mr. Divine Kosa, and then to the entire executive leadership of GHASKA. It's a pleasure to share my experiences with all GHASKA alumni, current continuing students and members in Korea and outside of South Korea, because I know today's program, most of you would be watching online and you could be in the USA, Canada, and the rest of the world. So I'm here to share with you what I know and what would be helpful to you. One of the major things in Korea is when you join GHASKA, you ask yourself, what's the benefits? What really do you stand to benefit for being a member of GHASKA? Well, I will tell you my story and what you stand to benefit. So to further into the discussion, I'm Richard Zinleri, and I'm the CEO for Zinleri Investment Company Limited, and I'm also the CEO for Ghana Korea Trading, which was recently incorporated into the Korean, overseas exports industry, which is doing fine by the grace of God. And then also, I used to work in the formal sector here in South Korea. I probably remember in 2016 when I first came to South Korea, it was in February. It was a bit colder at the time. And this is what happened. It was a bit funny. When I go to the airport, my shirts as a Ghanaian wasn't that heavy and thick. So after I checked out from the airport, I took my luggage walking out. Suddenly, I was met outside by a very cold, stiff, breezing weather. And I was like, wow, hey, new power. And I ran back into the airport. Wow. Everyone around was just looking at me like, why is this guy running back into the airport? In fact, the weather shook me up. Then I remembered I need to double my jackets, and then I stepped out again, and the school was in Yeongnam University. Apparently happens to be the vice president of GHASKA school as well, Yeongnam University, PSPS department. When I graduated from that school, I got a formal sector job, and the visa which commensurates with this job is the E7 visa. You would ask yourself, as a Ghanaian in South Korea, schooled here, graduated here, how did I get that kind of formal job with an E7 visa? Now, this is the simplest way to go about it. When you first arrive in South Korea and you just don't seem to see or find any Ghanaian around you, just make sure you ask for the student association and the student body here. And then you join, enroll, and become a member, just like you have done now. That is the place you would get all the filler, all the tips, all the information to help your way in this country. So to get this job, you first would have to always make use of the internet in this country. As you all know, internet in South Korea is almost free. There's Wi-Fi everywhere in your homes, in the buses, in the subways. Everywhere you go, there is Wi-Fi. Do not just listen to news updates and music, but try to also do a lot of research. So for instance, I read International Development Cooperation at the Yeongnam University. So I started to look for opportunities within the International Development Cooperation sector. So each week I make sure I Google and search for internship. Mark the keyword here is internship. You first would have to get internship, okay? So when you get an internship with any Ghanaian Korean company, it must be related to your field of study. So let's say you are doing international development study, or you are doing international business management, or you are doing laboratory, whatever you are doing, make sure the research is on that field. So you don't have to wait until you graduate before you search. So remember, your internet, your data, and your search should be very key. Every day, every week, be searching for internships in your field of study. If you are at Suwon, Aju, Yongnam, Seoul National University, whatever you're doing, chemistry, physics, make sure you search internship in that field. And then in Korea, you'll see a lot of links, organizations that would open up and pop up on your computer or laptop or phone, telling you internship opportunities, whatever it is. So when you read through the requirements, first you pick their phone number, you pick their email, and you write to them nicely. When you write to them, you detail out your resume, you detail out your current place of study and what you're doing, your career objectives and what have you. Be doing that stuff. And one secret here is that when you do it, try to make sure you find a Korean friend who can help you translate all of the things you've written in English in the Korean version. So when you are sending out to the organizations, you are sending two versions of a content, English and Korean. So the key thing here again is you are looking for internship. That is the first step to go into the formal sector. The internship could be anywhere, any organization, okay? So when you start writing for this internship, some of them would reply, some of them would ignore, reject you, but don't give up. Just keep writing. If you write about 200 or 100, definitely one or two would reply to you. So when you get this internship opportunity, they're going to interview you. When you pass the interview, is one of the first stages. And let them always understand that you don't want to work for money. Just work to gather the experience here in South Korea in the formal sector. Okay, let them know that. So when you get an internship opportunity, that is the window opened for you to jump and enter into that formal sector. And as a Ghanaian student in South Korea, one of the trademarks is we are very hospitable people. We are very hardworking and knowledgeable and very intellectual. So display all of these qualities at the internship place. Don't joke, don't slack. This is the first step. So while you do all of that, your bosses, your CEOs, your directors, they'll be observing without you knowing they are observing. So all the formal structures you knew in Ghana about administrative work and procedures, how to file things, even if you don't know, you should be asking. How to file, stuffs in the offices, be doing those things, okay? So once you show exceptional qualities and you get results, okay, based on those results, before 6 months would end your internship, they'll be willing to offer you a job with them. This is how I started, okay? And usually some of the companies, they don't have enough room to recruit or let you join, but you have to create one for yourself as a Ghanaian living here in South Korea. So the point now is, how did I create that opportunity to be able to work in the formal sector here in South Korea? Now, when you look around the place you are having your internship, in my case, it was a railway company. Mind you, from the start of this video, I told you that what I read was International Development Corporation. It has nothing to do with railway, railway engineering. I have no expertise in that. But while with them, I made sure that anything I handled had to do with English-related jobs. Even though I got Korean basic speaking qualification, but English-related jobs was what I was doing. So you handle all the correspondences for them in English. They have emails in English that you have to respond and write to. They have phone calls to overseas companies related to their work. You have a lot of research to do on the office desktop about similar opportunities out there, new trends, new designs, new railway ideas, those stuff, and you are filing it. So whenever you have the chance to hold a meeting with them, you put out these ideas so they know what you can do. So through these ideas, they'll be like, no, we would like to keep this guy. Because as I entered that place, the company has never gone overseas to transact or construct any railway system or design in any country. But it took me to pave a way for them to have one in Indonesia. It took the same me as an internship fellow to take them to Ghana to meet the railway minister for a possible bidding for a railway construction in Ghana. So look at that. As an internship person, look at all of those qualities I was showcasing, trying to be more promising with them. Then quickly they realize they don't have to lose you. They have to keep you. They have to work with you. These are the key ways. So once they don't have a department, they will create one for you, because what you hold, what you have exhibited is enough for them to create one for you. And then through their visa processes to get E7, as you all are student in South Korea, is D2. But when you move away from D2 student visa, you move on to what we call the D10 visa. D10 visa is such that you are looking for a job, you are looking for opportunities. That is what D10 is about. So D10, looking for jobs, looking for opportunities, and then looking for internship. So once you have that internship, it means you are still on the D10. But usually immigration would put a certain dash on your D10. Maybe D10 dash 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. It indicates the whole level of D10 you are holding. It means that D10 as a job seeker, you've gotten an internship doing somewhere, and they would update it on the immigration system that you are having this internship with company A, B, C, D. So at a point when you are leaving or you are about to finish your internship and your company files for unemployment to recruit you, the same immigration authorities will realize the consistency with which you have come. You were once on internship, now you are coming with an employment offer. So your company will detail out an employment offer, salary attached to it, your social security contribution, your accommodation, and what have you. The conditions vary depending on which company you find, but these are the ways to enter. So when they file all of this document at immigration, the consistency of your D10, the internship, evidences, the filing, everything, it is just enough, and you sail through with your E7. While on the E7, don't sleep, don't slack. The same enthusiasm, level of intellect, and capabilities you displayed should be ongoing, non-stop. So through this, I've earned my formal job in South Korea, where maybe we might think is not possible. Usually after school, either we run to a factory or we run to a farm to do hard labor jobs. But there are other windows of entering into the Korean formal sector jobs. I quite remember when I finished, I used to work in a place around Gyeonggi-do called Goyang. Apparently, it was a recycle company where you work in the factory, okay? But at a point, it was another field of hustling just to prepare yourself until they call you for the internship. You know, these are the ways and means you navigate your way in this country and you land yourself into a formal sector jobs. And also, before you would get this internship opportunity, it shouldn't just be by email, online searching. Wherever you go to church, or wherever you go to your mosque, or wherever you go to your social gatherings or clubbing, network and socialize. You don't know the next person who could recommend you to someone that could lead you to a formal job. There are good examples in this country of Ghanaians who were once doing formal sector jobs and are still in it. There are good examples of them. This is just my example and how I got to do it and how possible it is. So, Mr. Vice President, I think I have spoken enough, and this is it for the formal sector job. Yeah. And the formal sector job, one more thing is when you enter, it is still subjected to renewal. Okay. And in getting to renew your formal sector job visa, sometimes the Korean company you work with knows all the nitty-gritties of how to renew, so you don't have any burden. But if they don't know, usually they will rely on you to give updates. So one thing is your data, your Wi-Fi, your internet is free, so don't joke with it. Always be online searching and looking and fishing for information. HiKorea.com and JobSeekers.com and many other platforms online that you could fish for more information. And through those information, you could also feed your office HR team what to do for your renewal. And usually too, when you get this opportunity with any Korean company, make sure that your day-to-day activities, you get it well captured on data. Today's date, tomorrow's date, Monday to Friday, what you did when you came to the office, the first job you did, write it down. Second job, write it down. Document everything each day, each week. It is very key to your renewal on a formal sector employment. Yeah, so this is how I did it, and it's workable for everyone.
Wow, that's a very great and impressive way to get a formal job in Korea.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thank you, my brother. Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. Yeah.
So one last question on the job, the formal job. So how long did you do this job for?
Well, that's a very good one. I stayed on that job for 2 solid years.
Wow.
Without counting the internship period.
Wow,
I did a job for 2 solid years. Yeah, and usually per the Korean labor law, I think that it starts from 2,568,000 and above. I know Ghanaians in the formal sector here in Korea who earn over 6 to 12 million Korean won.
Wow.
Yes,
12
far more
million.
than I even earned, and they are still here.
They are
They are
still
also
here.
Ghanaians with us.
Wow.
So they all use most of the key strategies I just outlined: networking, socializing, being very deep neck with people, not just everyone, but people that you think they have certain potentials of pushing you somewhere.
Yeah.
And one thing too is you should always hang out with people who could let that happen, okay? Like they say, when you move with people who love eating pork, definitely one day you end up eating pork as well, right? So yeah, make sure you hang around with more CEOs,
Yeah.
more influential people who
in
could help to
society.
connect you and lead you to your
very
next
important.
opportunity.
So guys, let's take advantage of this
solid years.
opportunity. Wow, that was very good.
Yeah.
So, congratulations once again.
Yeah, thank you.
So with that, I think you've learned a lot about the formal sector employment available in Korea. Let's take advantage of that. Now, so to go to our second point, which most of you are also very eager and willing to listen to, is how he was able to establish a company. I mean, 2 companies in Korea as we speak. So how did it start?
Okay, this is how it is. The first job that I did, there were challenges. It's not that smooth and all good. And you would also face the same, or probably any of you who are into work currently would be facing same. The thing is that there is a generalized stigmatization of where we are from. That's Ghana, Africa. So you would be working in the formal sector, all nice and good, air conditioned, office, whatever, but there are challenges. And usually those challenges, if they don't break you, they will toughen you. And sometimes those challenges becomes unbearable to the extent you want to jump out. And unfortunately, it was one of the experiences I had. Largely, the company I joined in the formal sector was very, very, very good. But along the line, when you have ideas, you have certain capabilities, and you showcase all of them because you are in Korea, in a foreign land, your renewal is subjected to your performance and capabilities. Sorry to use this language, but you can easily be thrown out of any company if they find another human resource person or another person from anywhere in the world who could do what you are doing. But if the person happens not to be Obibini, then suddenly all the good things you were doing and all the excellence and brilliance you have shown becomes forgotten, and they would want to jump onto that person. So the thing is, where we are from, there's a stigma about it, and it can be all good and nice, but along the way, when they meet new people who could also do exactly what you are doing, and those will happen not to be Obibini. I'm using the Obibini as a coded word here, okay, brothers and sisters. So that's what happened to me. So I for the first time, because I knew my worth, I offered to resign, and I was approached and I was begged not to resign. So I stayed put. Same thing that happened that made me to jump out happened again. Then I tendered in a resignation to move out again. Because they knew my worth, I was begged and approached and promised they wouldn't repeat such things, and I stayed. So these were the things. These are things that out of confidentiality I may not be able to disclose it ditto. So on the third time I said, no, I'm there. I'm there. I can't stay, I can't take it anymore. And I jumped out. And luckily too, because I know myself, I know my worth and my capability. Once you jump out, you don't lose much, in the sense that all the pains you went through while you were in the formal sector, you were learning something. The things you learned in there, and the things they also extracted from you, that helped them build their company. When you are going with it. They can't open into your head and take that knowledge power away. That is your power. Everywhere you go, if they find a new person who's no Bibini and is as how they want it, the person can't do anything as you were doing. Yet they will prefer that person. Fine, you are gone. So while you are gone, instead of writing application is one option. To go into another formal sector is okay. But then if you think what you have learned and pay your capabilities, It's also enough for you to set up on your own. Don't joke. Set up on your own. And while you are setting up, there are fears, things that would hold you back and think, Charlie, maybe you don't know how the future would be like. You are setting up, maybe monthly you were taking around 2, 3, 6 million thereabouts. Charlie, setting up on your own, how can you be assured of your salary? You know, that one is an office, is structured, you are being paid because it's required by law. But once you set up on your own, you are paying yourself. And if you are not doing much, your services are not being patronized by clients or the public, how do you get to pay yourself? How do you get to live your life? How do you get to rent? How do you get to pay your bills? These are the things that will make you feel like you should jump into another formal sector again to work in another company. But if you also care too much about the fear, you can't really know your worth and what you are capable of. So sometimes it's good to go out there and test the waters. If you test and you fail, try. Test and you fail, try. So definitely you will succeed and you will stand. So while I jumped out, I started to set up on my own. And that is what gave birth to the Zinlery Investment Company Limited. And the Zinlery Investment Company Limited was kind of international development consultancy where any Korean in this country who wants to go to Ghana or other African countries to set up, I offer them advice, I offer them guidance, I connect them to the right institutions in Ghana where we could get certain things done for. Then based on that, either I travel with that team to Ghana. So it offers you the opportunity to travel around the world, anywhere in Africa. Probably they want to set up a construction company, they want to set up a farm, they want to set up a project, they want to set up a medical center. All of this Zinlery investment takes care of it. Okay, and you are doing that with invoices, issuing out invoices for the cost of the consultation, the cost of other stuff, and then you are also earning from there. If you are lucky enough, you earn well. If you are not lucky enough, sometimes you wouldn't earn much, but this is the way. Then the second aspect of the Zinlery investment was that I go into overseas exports. Anything anybody needs from South Korea around the world, I get it here for the person and I get it shipped to that person. Anything apart from human beings. Yeah, I ship anything Korean. Once you like it, I'll get it purchased here and I ship it. So overseas export was part of the Zinlery investment. And then the other last thing about Zinlery investment is I also do, it's the same as overseas export, buy and sell. Buy and sell. Anything which is movable, I get it. And then I advertise it to all my networks in Ghana. You make use of your former investors in Ghana. Every contact list you have, any person you know, even if they are not interested, keep pushing. Sometimes people wouldn't even bother you. They read your messages, they won't mind you, but keep pushing. Sometimes people even wonder, why you are doing this job. But don't worry, keep pushing. So Zinlery investment gradually picked up, well established. I was doing good. As at November 21st, 2021. So fast forward to today, I decided that I will go into Ghana Korea trading because the Zinlery investment was more or less like a private business run by me as an individual businessman with that license. So there are limitations to that. The limitations are such that you are barred from certain recruitment and you are barred from certain activities. There is a limit actually, okay? But with the Ghana Korea trading in which I ventured into, it is a whole incorporated establishment where there are departments, where there are staffs, where things are structured like the way it must be. You understand? And that's why I moved into that. So Zinlery investment took care of the things I mentioned, the international development consultancy, the overseas export. But the Ghana Korea trading is basically for trading, freight forwarding, shipment, and even door-to-door services and what have you. To Ghana, Liberia, Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Tanzania so far.
Wow.
And this was the trajectory. The requirement is this. There is what we call the startup. Okay? Sometimes they would want you to apply with an idea of what you think you can do. That's what we call the startup, okay? And there is a body that usually guides you in doing these things. What we call the OASIS. I don't know if you guys have heard OASIS. It's sort of an how do we even call it? The full meaning, the OASIS. Overall, it has a meaning. I'll get it while I'm speaking. So this OASIS has a varied information, stored up data on how you can start up your own ideas, even register your own patent or intellectual capabilities. Okay, and then there are Korean institutions that you can write to, okay, that you can be selected to kind of establish those ideas into a business or a company. And mostly they rely on technology, innovative, ideas. These are the ones they are looking for actually.
Okay.
Not like you want one that you can sell soju or coffee or restaurant. No, this is on the lighter side, brothers and sisters. So they want it in the tech industry and then the financial industry. We all use G-Money Pay and the rest.
Yeah.
These are things that are of needed services in Africa that you as a Ghanaian in Korea, you could put up an idea either similar to or more than what is already existing, and then you bridge in those gaps. So these ideas, when you get them, you have to also get a lawyer, a Korean lawyer who would assist you to register the company, assist you to register for the patent, okay? And all of these assistance will be well documented, stamped and sealed, such that you'll be submitting them for a startup company permission. And sometimes you may even win awards and grants from the Korean institutions for you to set up. These are the ways and means you can own your own business in South Korea. This is one of the ways, okay? And then we also have what we call, the OASIS is overall assistance for immigration. Overall assistance for startup immigration system. Overall assistance for startup immigration system. That is the OASIS. So, brothers and sisters, you can go on Google, search it out about OASIS and read it thoroughly. It's like a course or a program you can write, study and write. We have OASIS 1, OASIS 2, OASIS 3 and 4. When you write until OASIS 4, bingo. You can use those certification and grants, like the documentation to apply for your own company startup. Then at least your Korean speaking ability should be up to, let's say, topic 3. Okay, you can attach to it. And usually most people focus on the patent registration. But this is the trick I will tell you. To establish your own company in Korea, one of the requirements is the patent. The intellectual property you have to go and register. But it takes a longer time before that certificate will be ready. It could be 2-3 years, but don't bother. While you are going to apply at the immigration system for you to be granted that business incorporation or registration to start running, they will demand for a patent. But once the patent is not ready, the application receipt you had at the time you apply for the patent is enough. It will earn you 80 points. 80 points. So those points is part of the visa application. It is usually D8-4 or D8 visa, investment visa, for you as a Ghanaian foreigner in Korea, about your ideas and what have you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get a lawyer to do all of this. If you don't have money, find ways and means to appeal to the hearts and the human side of the lawyer, to understand you, how promising you are, what you think you can do, and later you'll get him well sorted out, or get some elders who could also speak on your behalf, get some pastors, get some of your GHASKA student leadership to also help you in approaching certain people. These are all the ways and means before you realize you have established and you are running your own company. This is one of the few things. Then the other thing is this. When you move from D2 as a student, you move to D10. When you move from D10, you can straight away move to the D8-4, which is the startup visa. But it is all subjected to internet research and data looking for opportunities. Okay, if your ideas are not enough, you look for a friend or a GHASKA member who has certain abilities that you could fish or tap information from to help build. Because you're not an island, you need people to help. Okay, I also have people that I consult and I speak to. One very good friend is Akresi Dazi, another alumni of GHASKA, very good friend of mine. Charlie, be person can say, then putting ideas, helping one another. this is the way to go. You don't sometimes need to have a lot of money in your account before you can set up a company. The startup system alone, OSIS, can help you fully fledged and establish yourself. The other thing is also cash issue. This is the first ways and means you can register a company. The other way is if you have good money, let's say $100,000 or 100 million, okay, then you apply as an investor. But as GHASKA students, I'm sure that this stretch, I mean, the mark of $100,000 or 100 million will be a Herculean task for all of us. So we will not delve too much into that. You will see there are a lot of Ghanaians doing very well at the Incheon, the Busans, the Pyeongtaek, and the port areas, established businesses. These are big guys who have traded and done business for long. So they got huge cash. So for them, it's easy to use. When you have your $100,000 or 100 Korean million won, you don't need topic 3. You don't need those. You don't need to write those things. Your money alone ends you the point, bam. But it is subjected to procedures.
Okay.
Either that money is sent from Ghana to you, or that money is collated here in Korea, but you have to show proof of source of the fund.
Oh, okay.
One of the ways is to declare to the Korean authorities here. You do a declaration on the funds. Okay. After you do a declaration, you find a lawyer who will take you to a bank, any of the banks of your choice, mostly Hana Bank. And then you go and do what we call a foreign direct investment instrument certificate, where they'll check the money, document it, and then open up a company account. The name you will choose, they open it, and then transfer the funds into it and set you up. With those funds and then those registration papers from the bank, your lawyer together with you will move to any vicinity of your choice to go and register for the company business registration certificate, what we usually call in Korean language SAPCHA. SAPCHA. That is the business certificate. You get the SAPCHA registered, you go through certain authorization of papers, a whole lot, but it's doable. Once I did it, someone did it, you can also do it, fellow GHASKA people. So these are the processes of getting your own company established. The third process is to also find an already existing or established company, like any other Ghanaian or any other African or any other foreigner or me, whoever. And then you go and invest in or buy shares in that company as an investor. And that will also lead you to acquiring a D8 visa of a sort. Then from D8 visa, you can be shifting to other categories of visas, because every month the visa system keeps changing, and D8-4 may not be there forever. So you have to always be checking highkorea.com to know what is new, what is trending. Sometimes F2-7, another good form of visa, where you can work or run your own company without any limitation. F2-7. So you can shift from D8-4 to F2-7, and then you are growing while you are still running. So while you join someone else's company and invested in there, based on those track record, you can also break away and have your own company where registered, because you need records, you need to build up. So you join a brother, you partner, and then you grow from there, and then you shift, you gradually transition into yours. This is the third way you can get your own company started and running in South Korea. The last fourth way is this. Everywhere you church or you school or you go to mosque, network and look sharp. When you walk on the street of Korea, opportunities are all over us. But sometimes we are too caged. Let me use this word. We are too caged. Break the barriers, break the chains, break the cage and step out. People may discourage you or call you names or tag you otherwise, but you know your focus, what you want. Break the barriers and keep searching. When you walk on the street of Korea, you see so many factories and companies. For example, free one, Thai Bank. You see Thai Bank in Korea everywhere. You enter there, you are looking for the manager or the director. Oh, this is your company. I want to open a branch in Africa, in Ghana, to supply Togo, Ivory Coast, whatever. Some of them may think you are crazy, or what is this guy out of the blue? What is he talking about? Keep doing it. If you approach 20 people, maybe 1 or 2 would pick, and someone will believe in you. And then you'll be breaking barriers. You become a CEO in Korea, CEO in Ivory Coast, CEO in any, then you are going. These are the ways and means. Not just Tire Bank, any other factory that you think deeply is needed in Ghana or somewhere in Africa, go knock on their doors, hold meetings, hold coffee time, like I'm doing with Vice President now. Cheers.
Yes.
Hold coffee time and discuss ideas, brothers
Yeah.
and sisters. These are the ways you break barriers.
Yeah.
We are all in this country. We are using a lot of apps. We are using Dangin, the Carrot app,
Yeah.
to buy and trade,
Yeah.
use goods here and there. But how about this idea? Who are the guys behind Carrot? How did they create it? You search, free internet, free data. You Google, you search, you see the owners, you get their email, you write to them.
Yeah.
If you are lucky, they get response, bingo. If you don't get response, look for their head office, visit, knock on their doors. If you can't speak Korean well, use the translation apps on your phone.
Yeah.
You tell them in English, then you translate in Korean. And then, to appeal and be attractive to them. Oh, Kwanzaa now sometimes we happen African work. No one say when you have break. Okay. So these are the ways and means you can succeed here as a Ghanaian student, most especially a member of GHASKA.
Yeah.
In the formal sector, in establishing your own company, in establishing your own business, and you'll be good to go. Don't be shy to consult. Don't be shy to seek for help. Don't be shy to network. These are the ways you break the barriers. I think I have spoken for long. I don't know if Vice President, there are more things you would want to ask.
Well, so thank you once again for this wonderful,
My pleasure.
Yeah, wonderful information. I think this is a lot of information for us as GHASKA members that we can take advantage of. Like you mentioned, there are a lot of ways. The networking is really, really key to me, and then investing in other people's companies. If you have the money, as he mentioned, try as much as possible and see if you can also go into something. But I believe you've learned a lot from today's, interview with one of the well-established businesses in Korea here, Mr. Richard. Thank you once again for coming.
My pleasure.
I think anytime you lack ideas, you need to, reach out to somebody. I think he's ever ready to assist you. You can call him any day, anytime, and whatever effort he can put in to make sure you get your information assisted to do anything at all that you want of all the programs that we are discussing. Feel free to contact him, and we'll be really, 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 really to assist you. Yeah. So thank you very much. Yeah. I don't know if you have something.
Lastly, I also realized that most of the other nationalities from Pakistan, Syria, Egypt, Libya, and the rest, sometimes they tend to be more bonded and united as one strong unit. So sometimes they assist one another to open a company, Sometimes not even all the funds really or directly comes from the person, but through assistance and contributions, people get to set up. If we are one united Ghanaians in Korea with positive, clear conscience and mindset and heart, with prayer backed by it, we could have this sort of help and assistance for one another. And many more Ghanaian businesses will flourish and establish and be run in this country. Because it shouldn't always be about the factories. It is also good. But I think you would rather prefer to be an entrepreneur. You rather prefer to run things on a bigger scale and a bigger level, right? Than always remaining in the factories. So as a student in Korea, this should be your focus and your targets. Don't lose guard. Let's be more united and more grounded like the other nationals are doing. You see a lot of businesses and offices, and Africans are not many. Why? We have the intellectual capability. Sometimes too, we have some of the finances and resources, but because of issues of trust or oneness, sometimes we don't get to gel or bond well. Let's break those barriers. I think GHASKA can set that good example, and the sky would be the limit. You understand? Yeah. So I'm grateful for this program.
Thank you very much. So to add to what he just said, I also heard about is it an Uzbekistan student or someone who came to Korea, established I think a company or like a business, and then after he's done with his school and he was going back to his country, he handed it over to another national. Yes, Uzbek national. So that means the business was still continuing.
That's right.
That tells you that they have their interests at heart.
Good.
He didn't just collapse the company and left, but he made sure that he handed it over to somebody who continued with the legacy. So let's try as much as possible to gather together as people, bond, and then do investment together. You can invest here, go back home, and the money will be working for you.
That's right.
And you just be relaxed, and then you'll be taking your profit. So let's take advantage of this
Yeah.
loaded information, and then help ourselves as Ghanaians and then members of GHASKA. So GHASKA members, thank you so much for having time with us. And I believe the video has been very informative and educative, and we'll take advantage of that and move forward as one united GHASKA and even as Ghanaians. Thank you, and I see you. Bye.
Bye.